Now from a huge airship to a miniature jet. And as you guys know, lots of kids love playing with like model airplanes and building them. But what happens when those kids grow up?
Well, apparently they only partially grow up because their planes grow up and they stick with them. We went to Lakeland, Florida to find the best of homemade, remote-controlled airplanes, and one of them stood apart from all the rest.
Welcome to Top Gun. No, not the Navy's fighter weapons school. And no, not the set of a Tom Cruise movie. This is where the elite of remote-control planes go head-to-head. One of the best is from Toronto.
Graeme Mears is one of the best guys in the world at this.
Graeme builds the planes, and David flies them.
We were the winners of our category last year, so we have a reputation to uphold this year.
This flight of fancy started in Graeme's basement.
I've been fascinated by miniature things my whole life.
6 months and $50,000 later,
I've logged 1,500 hours.
Graeme has himself a miniature fighter plane.
This particular F-16 is exactly 1/5 scale.
Being exact is the key. From the needle on the nose to the glowing afterburners, every detail has to be perfect.
I'm making a book of art out of it, basically.
At Top Gun, planes are scored on how well they fly and how good they look.
He has a knack of taking a surface and turning it into detail like you swear you shrunk down these full-scale airplanes. I
may have the most Top Gun trophies of anyone that's ever competed there.
Graeme's peers respect Graeme because he's not an egomaniac. You know, he's just a neat guy. And some guys in this hobby are egomaniacs. He's not one of them, so his talent is respected.
Graeme has talent, but he also has some well-placed friends.
Last November, I went to Vegas to Nellis Air Force Base. It was arranged by higher-up people for me to have an up-and-close tour of the airplane, and at that time I took several hundred pictures. I take pictures of every little detail that mainly wouldn't interest other people, but for me they are important in replicating.
Once he's got all the photos, he has to make all the tiny parts.
Every time I'm looking for toys and that for my grandchildren, I'm looking at Toys R Us to see if there's things that I can destroy and take the components out and make molds of them. The first time I've ever done this, but in this particular airplane, I've experimented with putting LCD screens in, driven by tiny, actually programmable computers.
Despite the realistic cockpit, the flying is handled by David.
It's kind of like flying a piece of art with the chance that anything can happen, and there's not much that can save it if something does go wrong.
The flight controls are so complicated, it takes 17 separate radio channels to get all the information to the plane.
Up elevator, down elevator to make the plane go up and down, and then to bank left and bank right on the ailerons. Then we have all these different switches here, which we use, and the slide levers on the side for the flaps, the landing gear, the lights, the tail hook.
Graeme's F-16 got great scores in the static judging, but that won't matter if they can't outperform the competition in the air.
Takeoff is complete. Our judges, half cube and 8. Beginning now.
These are the same tricks real acrobatic pilots perform at air shows.
Maneuver complete.
Each of the dozen maneuvers are scored individually.
All right, judges, slow speed flyby. Beginning now. Complete. Next maneuver is going to be the landing.
Landing lights on.
And landing is complete.
A nearly flawless performance.
Cube and 8 looked really good.
Yeah, the slow roll was a little interesting with that other airplane right in the airspace. I was doing a slow roll right behind him. That was a little scary.
All that's left is to wait for the judge's verdict.
First place, Frank. This is a biggie. Look at that score.
I wonder who that was going to be.
The F-16 aggressor David Shulman and Graeme Mears. This is first place in team scale.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. Grab your cash. Here you go, another one.
And what better way to celebrate than to go for one more flight?
Feels good. All the practice and preparation, everything pays off.
And we get to take the airplane home and a bit of cash and some nice trophies, so we're pretty happy.
And in case you were wondering what the big prize money was, it was $800. Not much of a return on a $50,000 investment, but they did it for the glory.
Okay, up next.